The Public Information and Education Subcommittee of the National Disaster Management Council is encouraging greater safety awareness amongst members of the public, particularly seamen, fishers, and sea travelers for the month of April. Here to talk some more about safety at sea is Phil Aspinall, immediate past president of Virgin Islands Search and Rescue, VISAR, and Officer Lincoln Liebert of the Police Marine Unit of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. Thank you both for joining us today. What is good sea safety?
Common sense.
Common sense.
Yes, indeed. You need to know your environment. You need to know if you're at sea and you're on a boat. You need to know if anything goes wrong, where emergency equipment are, fire extinguisher, anchors if the engine stops, so you can stop the boat and then deal with the emergency. If you're on a passenger vessel or a vessel that, between here and St. Thomas, for example, you need to know where the life jackets are. And the vessels are very good. They label them. They tell you where they are. The kiddies ones are over here. The adult ones are here. Just make yourself aware of your surroundings so that you know where the door is, you know where the life jackets are. And just common sense, if keep an eye on things.
Officer Liebert, you have anything to add to what Mr. Aspinall said?
Well, yeah, I would add that boat safety you do have to deal with common sense. That's true, but you need to know you must have safety equipments, life jackets, flare, because one never know what's going to happen. And even if you don't know where you're going, tell somebody where you're going. That if you don't come back in an even time, they could say, have a look and say, well, this fellow said he was going to this area. If anything come for a call, we could know, well, he went to the dogs, so we could start overlook in that general area. So there's a lot of issues you have to factor inside there.
In your line of work, do you find that a lot of persons who own vessels, they have inadequate number of life jackets, or they don't have any at all? Do you find that this happens often, or is it that? Very
often, and sometimes too often. What seems to happen, you use it or you get it just for you borrow it to get the boat registered in the first instance. Oh. And once your boat has been registered, you take it back. So then you are going to see without the proper number of life jackets. That's
unfortunate.
That's cheating.
That's neat. We need to really look into that seriously.
Yeah. Persons borrow their stuff to get a boat registered, and in front of you they're like, here is my...
Yeah, they have everything that you requires to get it registered, but it's not belonging to the boat.
It's very unfortunate. You have anything to add?
I didn't know that. That's kind of clever.
Mr. Aspinall, anything else to add to what Mr.
No, he's right. The problem is, if you're on a private boat and you're going out to sea, then as Lincoln said, you should tell people where you're going. It's important because it's a big sea, and if they call late at night and say Johnny didn't come home, okay, well, where did Johnny go? I'm not sure. It's a huge area to try and start searching, especially in the dark. Yeah. At night and stuff, and that just cramps our style, for want of a better phrase. It's you need to know. I know some of the fishermen, they like to keep their little fishing areas secret and safe so that they can get the best catch, and they don't want to tell their friends, well, the fish is really good over here, so they don't want to tell their friends, because then they got it all to themselves. So I understand that, but at the same time, there should be somebody that they can trust to say, well, I'm going there. Yeah. And then if their boat breaks down and they don't come home or whatever, then at least we know where we can go and look for them, and we promise not to tell his friends where we found him, So
at the very least.
Yes.
So how can I be safer as I traverse the sea? If I'm just a regular person and I take the ferry, how can I be safer? What can I do to make a difference in my sphere?
Well, as I said at the beginning there, just make yourself aware of your surroundings. Know where the exit is, know where the life jackets are. Listen to the tannoy at the beginning. On the ferries I've travelled on lately, they're all very, very good at giving announcements as to where the stuff is and what they expect of you. If it's rough, stay in your seat, until you're safely tied to the dock there. They will make those announcements. Just pay attention to them. It is for your own safety at the end of the day, obviously. some people travel ferries every day and are far more familiar with the ferry than people who may only travel once a year. You know,
Yeah.
so it's you get on an airplane, you get in your car, you do your basic safety stuff to yourself. You need to know your own limitations, for want of any,
Right.
you know, for want of a
Right.
better phrase. You know, so it's just knowing where everything is really.
Officer Liebert?
Yeah, and just be careful because all of us get in a boat, and once the boat is going to dock, we want to get out first. But it's important because the wave could hit the boat against the dock harder than the captain would really like it to take it there.
Yeah.
And you can fall down, broke some part, then who responsible?
Yeah. We just need to stay in our seat.
Right, so sit down until when the boat is properly docked, and then everybody going to get off anyhow. Everybody going to be going through the line, everybody going to be processed same way. You know, just manage your time, manage your day.
And they usually make you wait while they unload all the bags and everything anyway. So there's, when you get to there, you've
There's
got to
that.
stand in line, and then there is, as he said, if a wave comes while you're all stood up there waiting to get off, then
You can hurt
you
yourself.
can hurt yourself, or bump into somebody else and hurt them. You know, you may come off okay, but the guy in front of him bumped into something, you know, and it was down to you, you know. So
Suppose someone falls overboard. What do I do if I'm in a small vessel? I went fishing and someone falls overboard, or suppose I'm on a ferry. I know those are two different questions. But
Well,
take your time.
That would be an easy section if you're on a private boat, and that's why it's always important to have a lookout, because it wouldn't be right for the captain to be maneuvering and still looking for somebody overboard.
Right.
Once he have a lookout, the lookout will keep his eye on the person who is in the water, and he maneuver the boat around that person.
Okay.
And he must always keep the engine away from that person.
Okay.
And according to the rules, said that you must go 60 degrees away from where the person fall, then turn 20 degrees, and then come around and pick him up upwind.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know that. Miss Aspinall, you have anything to add to
no,
that?
it's the same thing. I'd say that the key to all of that is somebody keeps an eye on the person in the water. So obviously, if there's only two of you, then as Lyman says, that you've got to maneuver your boat, and it can be very, very difficult if you're the only person left on the boat trying to watch where they are, because if there's current, there's wind, if there's everything else, you need to make sure that you're looking at them and then maneuvering your boat. So does that mean you have to go to sea with three people in case somebody falls over? I mean, it's all very, very difficult to sort of police that sort of thing. But as long as there's more than somebody else, somebody needs to keep an eye on that person. And whether that's a ferry or a small boat, you know, I mean, whoever saw the accident happen should be the one that keeps an eye on everything, because they've seen it right from the beginning. You know, and they should just scream, man overboard. If you're on a vessel, there is a man overboard button on the VHF radio and on the GPS plotters and stuff, so that the position is immediately saved. So if you go back and you're having trouble to find them and other people come to join, you can actually tell them exactly where they fell overboard, because the electronics will save that information for you, you know, so that helps as well.
Okay.
But as Lincoln says, the big clue is keep them staring at them, and because it's comforting for the people in the water too, that they know they can wave to somebody and somebody can see them and wave back, you know, and they know that you're coming back for them and that sort of thing, you know.
Yes.
So if all they see is the boat going away, you know,
start to panic.
they can panic too, you know.
Yes.
So if there's that relationship between the person in the boat and the one in the water, then I think that's comforting, for want of a better phrase, while you know somebody's seen you and that they're looking out for you, you know.
So, what role does VISAR play? What role does the police play in the event that there's an accident, or just generally? What role do you both play in the community in terms of sea safety and awareness?
I think for VISAR's point of view, we're more reactive, so to speak. You know, I mean, we have events like this broadcast, and we lecture in the schools and stuff, particularly on Safe Boating Week and things like that. You know, in the aid of prevention. But sadly, I mean, most of our responses are reaction, so to speak, to an event.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
as VISAR, whereas
as is needed.
exactly. I mean, the police and Liebert will answer, but I mean, they're more out there in sort of a proactive, making sure the boats are safe legally, and this, that, the next thing. They're registered. They've got all this safety equipment and that sort of stuff. So he's far more proactive in the defensive side of things, and where we try and promote that, if you know what I mean, as an organisation, then typically we are sort of reactive. You know, we have to respond to sadly something that's gone wrong, you know, rather than be out there just patrolling and trying to prevent that sort of happening.
Right.
When it comes to the police play a wide role, because we have so many agencies that we assist in our day-to-day job. Like the conservation of fisheries.
Yes, yes.
We assist them, we assist the Port Authority.
Right.
With customs, we work together. So it's a wide range. But when it comes to like accident, we would respond to an accident. We get a call, we go out. We deal with the investigative side of it. So we collect statements, photograph the vessels, make note as to where the accident did occur by the GPS setting, and come back and we investigate it and we inform the shipping and registry. And then they would say, well, them is the person who, those are the ones who would say, charge for this or charge for that.
Mr. Aspinall, I know that you're a part of the subcommittee, PI, for the National Disaster Management Council. What other messages or information will we be hearing throughout this month, through the month of April?
Well, various sort of enhancements on this show and other stuff. It's going out through the radios. You'll be able to pick it up on social media. You know, I think we're Facebooking and Twittering and doing all the rest of it. I don't, but I know it's going out through there. But ZBVI, you know, there'll be lots of sort of little broadcasts, little snippets of information, or little lengthier programs, just reminding people that safety at sea is important.
Yes. Officer Leibod, you have a mantra that you were quoting earlier about safety at sea.
Well, I just believe that everybody, we have a big boating community, and all of us should be mindful of safety when we leave to use the boat, whether for whatever reason. Safety should be first and paramount. And I would just say safety at sea is good for all of we.
I like that one. Safety at sea is good for all of we.
Simple as that.
Are there any other words of wise words that you'd like to give to persons in the public to remind them to be safe, or anything just quick that has come to mind that I missed throughout this interview?
It's just suddenly occurred to me that people go to sea in boats and stuff. Their families go out a day outing and everything. You know, it's fun and all the rest of it. And maybe there are members of that boat that can't swim. There's no reason why they can't go to sea. They're in a boat and stuff. You know, but maybe the non-swimmers should be made to wear their life jacket at all times. You know, so if they do, as we discussed, man overboard, then they're in the jacket. They're going to float, and they can be thing because. Sadly, you know, we live on an island and everything else, and it's difficult for some people to comprehend why some people can't swim. But that's the reality, you know. And I think that if you are on a smaller private vessel, and the waves are going to have more of an impact on that small vessel rather than a ferry and what have you, you know, then if there are non-swimmers, then I think common sense should prevail, and they should be in a life jacket all the time, and not be embarrassed by that. You know, it's tragically we've seen in the news of late that people have drowned, you know, and it's. Whether they can swim or not, I don't know. But obviously that has a big impact. You know, if you are a non-swimmer, then the jacket will save you, you know, without doubt.
Yeah.
The whole point, have a plan. Look at the weather before you leave home, because you could go out on a flat day, a squall come in, the weather change. So have a plan.
Right.
Mr. Aspinall is saying that if you can't swim, wear a life jacket. I believe if you're going out in a boat and you don't have a cover to keep water off of you, you should wear, everybody, whether you could swim or not, should wear a life jacket.
Right.
Because things happen. And most cases, it's not people who can't swim, Joan. It's good swimmers.
Oh.
It all depends on how you fell in the water.
Like a bad tide catch you, or
yeah, the boat could hit
you're
you.
just not strong
Well,
enough.
yeah, exactly. You can get a bump on the head as you go overboard, you know,
Yeah.
and you're not even conscious. So.
But if
you
you
could
have
swim.
a life jacket on,
No, he's right,
at least
yeah.
you'll be
He's right.
Right, you float
floating.
through.
Yeah.
Even though you get knocked out, you will float through, and then somebody could come and resuscitate, do something. And probably that might save your life.
Yeah. Well, wise words. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming and joining us today and letting the public know about safety at sea.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hope we'll be back soon.
The Public Information and Education, or PI subcommittee, is comprised of volunteers of various BVI media outlets, from newspaper, radio, television to online, as well as several NGOs and government agencies. For more information on sea safety, please feel free to contact PI, or you can contact the Department of Information and Public Relations at 468-2730 or www.bvi.gov.vg. Also feel free to follow us on Twitter or friend us on Facebook. For the PI Subcommittee, I am Information Officer Feliza Fenty. Thanks for watching.